Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. I see people are already here in the chat. You guys are great tonight. What's up, Mr. Holland? Um, we got to get you on here soon because I was supposed to have you on last week. Uh, we got Amin in here. We got Ramon in here. We got H Post in here. As you guys come in, y'all know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe. We're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers by August 30th, Texas, Ohio State. That is a big goal for us, but I know we can get there with the support of everybody tapping into this channel and helping out. Tonight's guest are guests that we have frequent here all the time. Vashawn and Chris from Unfiltered Longhorn Talk over on Facebook. Vashawn, Chris, what's up, fellas? How we doing tonight?
Man, good to be here, Steve. Man, it's been a minute, but man, it's the off season, man. You know how it is, my brother. We're just always ready to talk some ball.
Absolutely. Chris, how about you, man?
Man, I'm doing great, man. It's an everyday thing talking Texas football, man. Everyday thing.
Speaking of everyday thing, that's why people need to go and tap into y'all's community because that's literally what you guys do all day, right? Keeping that conversation wheel going,
Oh
sharing
yeah.
articles, sharing information, sharing opinions, the whole bit. Vandalisa 18, donations, donations. I appreciate it. Starting off strong with this. And before we get into the topics, because we got a lot to discuss, I just want to say thank you to all the people that have been sending donations. Vandalisa 18, you've been very consistent. There's just so many people out here. Quentin, obviously, Anthony, who passed the CPA exam, sent something. Amen, you send stuff like it means a lot. Don't let just because I may keep the conversation going sometimes because there's a lot to discuss in just a condensed period of time doesn't mean that I'm not grateful for what you guys are doing and helping with this channel. It's one step closer to helping us improve the quality on this channel, improve the things we're able to do, and just give more back to y'all. So I really, really am grateful for that. I do not take it lightly. Um, Speaking of Dallas, House versus NCAA, big time ruling. Now, to my understanding, as of what July 1st,
July 1st, yeah.
July 1st, we essentially begin a new era of college athletics where athletes will be able to receive compensation directly from their programs. This does not eliminate NIL. Actually, it enhances it in terms of
Yeah.
benefits,
Mhm.
third party support, all of those things. But now we will be moving to where, the University of Texas, for example, can pay directly NIL for Arch Manning to be on the cover of whatever, right? Like that's a totally different ball game than what we've had. And the cap threshold, so to speak, for all athletes, my understanding it's going to be for the 2025-2026 season, $20.5 million for everybody. Obviously, it's a cap, so that's the maximum. I don't think all the schools are going to be able to leverage that, but that's also going to be in conjunction with what you report for third party NIL and things, contracts that are already in place and what players are already making. The other notable thing here is, Vashawn, please correct me if I'm wrong, $2.8 billion in back pay.
Mhm.
If you were, what, 2016 and onward,
Yes.
that will be paid out over a period of time, and I don't know how they're going to divvy that up. I have to do more homework there, but $2.8 billion in back pay to those athletes. Just starting out the conversation, Vashawn, like when you hear this, and I think it's already impacting recruiting, and we're gonna connect this directly to recruiting.
Yes.
What just the this is a massive, massive story. This is going to go down in the history books. We are starting a new era. What stands out to you the most? Like, what's just the biggest takeaways that you have when you look at House versus the NCAA settlement?
Man, to me, we kind of heard this was coming. We've been hearing about it, but now that it's finally here, and then some of the rules that went along with it, they talked about increasing the roster sizes, from 85 up to 105. And then I was reading a little something and it was saying schools that started cutting players to get to that 85 limit, letting people go in the spring. So I guess it's going to help, you know, because we had a lot of people that got in the portal that never got picked up. It might help in that, but man, this is just it's just a new age that directly paying from the school. Now let's be real, we know that stuff been going on a long time, but to be legal, man, it's crazy. And then I think it says it's capped at 20.5 this year, but it increases 4% every year. And by year 10, it's going to be up to $32.9 million. And man, I mean, it's a good time to be a college athlete. I just say it like that. But, and I know we're going to talk about, because man, it is affecting college recruiting right now. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing Texas, who is usually a slow starter in recruiting. We're starting to see 5 stars who used to wait to December, who used to wait to November, who used to wait to October. Hey, they got a deadline at I think it's July 1st when this
Mhm.
thing starts.
The timetable has moved up
The
significantly.
timetable has moved up, so we're starting to see kids like, I need to get my deal signed right now, because and I didn't answer your question totally, but to me the one thing I want to see is the way it was worded, and I read it. It says they're going to implement some new NIL deal, whatever the case, some new NIL rules, third party rules. But I didn't read anything what they're going to do. They got some type of committee that's going to be over NIL. I'm
That
curious.
committee is not the NCAA, by the way.
It is not the NCAA, exactly.
Yes,
So I'm curious, Steve. What is that going to entail? You know, uh, you know, one of the ugly parts of NIL was, of course, for me, tampering. Tampering. I don't know if you're going to be able to get it out, but the tampering. Because NIL is good, and then it has its ugly sides too. It's so many questions I got, Steve. Like, okay, if a kid signs an NIL deal, because now you can get paid in high school. I mean, the governor of Texas just say, hey, now kids at 17, which other states have also taken his own. Texas now is caught up. It's like, okay, if this kid commits, he start getting the NIL deal, but then he decides to flip and go to another school, does he owe that money back? It's all kind of questions. So I'm real curious, man, about what are we going to see, what this new committee is going to do. Are they going to change the transfer portal dates because it fell when we was playing, I think, Clemson or Arizona State, right in the middle of the playoffs? I mean, it's just so much stuff, man, that we really got to get answers to, but hey, man, I'm all here for it. We just keep surviving. Texas is probably one of the better schools at adapting to this thing. I remember when NIL first came out, Steve, remember they were just kind of waiting. It's like, wait, we're doing our research. And then Texas come out with their collectives. And then they come out with all of this stuff. Now you see everybody following Texas suits now, So, hey,
they
man,
were very, very equipped. To your point, I remember
yes,
it started with a program called Leverage
yes,
that they had initially, and then it morphed into the collectives and all of the things. But they were positioned at a time when I was a little bit on them for kind of getting off slow. They really
yeah,
were just kind of waiting for things to fall into place, and within the first year they certainly did. Right. One of the things that stands out to me before I get to Chris Del Conte newsletter. that he sends out. Obviously, softball just big time with their national championship win and him congratulating the women's softball team. But the next paragraph after the softball congratulatory stuff was about House versus NCAA and how they were expecting and waiting for this and some of the plans that they already have in place within Texas. He made it extremely clear. We will be maximizing every dollar available to us that we can leverage. We will be
Yes.
maximizing every scholarship limit in all 21 sports. Like he was making it very. If you haven't read that newsletter, go check that out. If you
I'm
follow
gonna check
Crypto
that out.
Conti on Twitter, click it. And I thought he was explicitly clear in his intentions of a we've been waiting on this, and now that this is going to become law and come into in play, I'm letting every Texas fan know out there that we will be we will max out every consideration that is available to us as an athletic program, right? Um, I think this is interesting when you think about certain conferences like the Big East in basketball, where they may shift those dollars because their money makers are basketball. They may say, "Hey, you know what? Some of these other sports, we'll bow down and reallocate money to be here," right? And I think this is why schools like Stanford hired an Andrew Luck and others have hired people to come into place to be these over beyond an athletic director, but like a true general manager.
Hmm.
So that's another element of this is the allocation of those dollars that you have to work with. Um, Chris, go ahead, man. What are your thoughts?
Um, I mean, I've never seen, especially under the Sark administration or his time here, I've never seen us have so many recruits so quick. Kind of reminded us of like Mac Brown, back in those times, when he would have everybody signed. Obviously, July 1st has probably the biggest deal reason to do with this, But the thing that's impressed me is that a lot of times, whenever you see guys sign so early, I mean, a lot of times you're signing out a lot of max guys. You're signing guys that, probably we've seen guys that didn't get any better, that didn't get any stronger once they got in campus. The thing I like what we've done, over the last couple of days is that, these defensive linemen that we've signed, there's a big, big ceiling. There's a big, big ceiling. There's a big ceiling with Verity. There's a big ceiling with Wells. You know, um, I don't know. I mean, I think July 1st is. That's going to have a lot to do with it. I mean, some people are saying a signing bonus might happen. To just to keep kids on campuses. A USC signing a tight end to a 3-year, $7 million deal that graduated that reclassified. That's crazy to me. I
Hmm.
mean, they've got the top defensive lineman in the state of Texas, who I want. Was it just Damian Winfield? I mean, that's just things are happening. I mean, obviously, I don't want the NCAA involved super duper a whole lot, whatever. I'd like to get some of this stuff back to us, But I mean, there's just I don't know, something's got to give. Something's definitely got to give in this. And I guess after July 1st, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
Well, the thing too is this also now that sets the stage for collective bargaining for the athletes, because that's the next court case that is still pending, I believe. And so if there's now going to be direct revenue sharing, if you will, between these athletic departments and the players, now is it who determines how much we get versus what they get? Like where does the revenue sharing aspect come into play? So I don't think this is the end of it, but I do think this is the beginning of having guardrails. I think that the end of the wild west days of there was no limits, no caps, no
Yeah.
protections for the athletes, right? I mean,
Yeah.
all these agents, all these things. Not that that stuff's going to go away, but at least now there's structure, right? I mean, when you compare what your situation is, I think what will be interesting is a school like Texas that already had a strong NIL collective, but we also make a lot of money from our football department, where that balance comes into play for the players versus a school that may need to rely more on their athletic department to pay those players to keep up because they don't have some of those boosters and whatnot. Well, the boosters still have the same amount of say. That's why I always say with Texas in general and even Ohio State, just because they spent the most money, more money brings more problems too. Like just because you're spending the most money does not guarantee you an outcome. You'd like to think so. It guarantees you no outcome. You still have to get everybody to work together. You still have to have all those egos to buy in. You still have to have structure. People still got to work hard. People got to stay healthy. Like there's a whole bunch of things that come into play, to make a successful program, right? It's not just, oh, we spent the most money. If that's the case, then everybody then you're looking at 2021 A&M,
Hey man, the
right?
Yankees win it every year. If that was the
Every
case,
year,
yeah,
every year,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
yeah.
there's a lot that goes into that I think
hmm
Texas has learned good lessons from the Wild Wild West era to take into here. When you guys look at Texas recruiting, let's move into that piece.
Okay.
Where do y'all think it is? Because I've heard everybody saying like it's bumping up timelines, blah blah blah. But like, to what recruitments or what areas of Texas recruiting do you think, Rashawn, it's like really apparent with the July 1st kind of deadline where it's the heat is on in terms of Texas football recruiting?
Man, like I looked at a Batman over there, Bishop. I feel like years past, man, Bishop would have probably been a August, maybe September recruitment. He's seen a few more schools, and you know, even the one that went against us, the Bowman kid, the tight end, and went to USC.
Hmm.
For him to just shut it down already, and man, I know y'all heard the rumors, 7 mil, and I'm laughing at one of Lance's posted at USC spending money they don't have. I heard that they're doing the crypto thing, USC. Um, and then I think it was a Florida, was it an edge or a linebacker, Steve, that was supposed to come to Texas? Florida, he went to Florida, he shut his recruitment down. You got guys shutting it down in June, and they're like, I ain't taking no more visits. You like what? Just unheard. We're in uncharted territory. But what I've heard too is rumors out there. Schools are literally paying guys to shut it down and not take any visits. Hey, how much you want? Oh, okay, this and that. So regardless if they're true or not, I think it's something to it. But man, we are in. Sark's staff has always been a notorious slow starter.
Hmm.
And we used to complain, Steve. We like, man, what's going on? I remember last year, boy, June, July, we like, man, we ain't getting nobody. What's going on? Soon as the official visit starts, because from what I heard, my source said the way Sark staff did, they didn't even push for kids early. Now if you wanted to come, they would, but they was kind of like, hey man, we're gonna keep recruiting you throughout the whole process because we don't want you to commit to us and then decommit. Because that's usually what happens when kids commit early.
That
But
early, yeah.
now, yeah, guys, the approach is totally different. And shout out to Clark and Orphaney and all of them other new coaches on their staff. Clark is the GOAT of recruiting. Leal and Clark. But anyway, that's another thing. But now what you're seeing is, man, they are not only pushing for these kids' commitment. I think you know, we probably be hearing about some NIL deals because you can get paid in high school now, right? You can start collecting your money in high school now. That's the new rule. So, man, I think it's definitely has pushed up the timelines a lot. And look, we got a lot coming in this weekend. We got some dogs coming in this weekend. And I ain't gonna lie to you, Steve, coming out of June, man, we could possibly see 15, maybe 20 commits. It's just going like that. So I don't know, man. I love it, but it's different.
So right now we're at 13 commits as of today.
Wow.
This is on June 10th for the
Can
2026 class.
can you look at last year's at this time? Is that available? Because
Uh,
I'm just curious,
while
and I
Chris
wish I
goes,
could get. Yeah,
I
yeah.
can pull. I can see if I can pull some numbers.
Okay.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, we're right now we're at 13 hard commits so far. Um. As of June 10th, we know we have a lot of kids coming in.
Yeah,
Um. I think Shamari Matthews is one of them that's
I
coming in
like
this
him.
weekend.
Yeah, I like him, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's North Carolina. That's the North Carolina cornerback.
Yeah. Who's
Yeah.
currently it's between us and Clemson, I believe.
Yes. Anybody that Clemson want, guys, we need to get. Clemson has very good eyes in identifying secondary guys. Yeah. Tim Wooten says it's about the same, but we'll see at the end of this month, Harris. I think we're going to probably separate from whatever our number was last year. After this weekend and the next weekend, I think we're going to really separate. I'm serious, guys. We can possibly pick up easily 5 or 6 more recruits from what I've been hearing.
How do you feel about that, Chris? Is because I know you like to track the numbers requisite to the month as well. And when we were talking before, you did have some concern, I think, over the amount of guys that you wanted to have by a certain date. I don't know if you want to clarify that, but um, just in terms of where
Well, I
you
mean, no, I mean,
feel where we're at right
just
now.
just just in the past, like I said, like heck, this time last year, I think what was it? I think Sark had like I think we were talking about this on the group message the other day, Rashawn. I think Sark had like only 4 or 5 people, 5 commits at this time last year. Is that right? Like it was real. It was way smaller than what it is now, obviously. Um, the thing that we saw under the Mac Brown days, especially, is that he would have all 20 something guys start, recruited, ready, signed, or not signed, but all but signed, but orally committed, before the season started. And so let's say half those guys, didn't get any better. You had a bunch of real low ceiling 4 or 5 stars on your roster. The thing that I like that Sark has done though, man, some of these guys, I mean Corey Wells, he looks like a 5 star, but the guy's is a high 3 star. There's a lot of growth. Same with Berryman. I mean there's a lot of growth. I'm looking forward to see what receivers catch on now. That Cohen Brown, that was a big signing. Are we going to get Jalen Lott? I mean, something's got to give. It's like who's going to be next? I don't personally think Caden Finley. People's like, oh, he's coming, he's coming. I just, I don't know. I don't see it. I mean, maybe I could be wrong. But what we do have coming on now, if we do, sign all these players, sign these defensive linemen, the number was it 4 or maybe even 5, or sign a high number of wide receivers. That's probably going to be a spot in 2026. We're not going to have to go in the portal anymore for it, and that feels really good. That feels really good. Unless there's a player that you like, that you just like. That's this guy's a one and done first round pick. Which Sark has been able to get the last couple of years. If you look at Golden, if you look at AD Mitchell, he's been able to get guys like that.
Hey,
So
Steve, real quick, I want to ask because I do want to clear up something. Somebody asked some. Where is he at? Oh yeah, JW, you're right. The colleges can't pay him, but from colleges. But I'm looking at the new NIL, the new Texas NIL rule that was passed by Governor Abbott. It says high school athletes, the law allows high school athletes who are 17 and older to now sign NIL deals. So yes, correct. I don't think you're getting revenue, but you can get your NIL deal. But you need to be committed to a school to get that. If I'm not I could be wrong. I'm just saying. Also it says the university compensation. Texas universities can now directly compensate student athletes for their NIL, unlike before when only third party deals were permitted. Steve, you want to explain that one to me? And Jay says, we are two up from this time last year. Two more commits, but it was still going. It's still June, so it was just the first weekend. So yeah, yeah.
So this weekend coming up, which starting June 13th,
Mhm.
Jalen Lott is doing. So these are official visits coming up. Is that correct? I just want to make sure I'm not misrepresenting. But Jalen Lott, Xavier Griffin, um, Felix, Samari
Ojo.
Matthews. Yeah,
Hmm.
Felix Ojo, Samari Matthews, Justice Fitzpatrick, younger brother of Minka Fitzpatrick. All those
So he
guys.
is coming. Okay. Okay.
I mean, are these all on the? I'm trying to see because there's a lot of people on this list.
Yeah, Hezzy Kent.
Stat Masters guy.
It's a lot of people on this. Like, it's a lot of
It's a
people on
lot.
this
Winfield's going to
list.
be here. Bodney
He's
Cleveland.
he's a maybe right now from what I'm hearing, and a good coach that I know said, man, in his opinion, he's probably the number one D tackle over Lamar Brown. But it's just everybody's different opinions. But man, yeah, it's some dogs coming in. I look at that offensive line classes coming in. It's ridiculous, man. This
I
might
think that coach
rival,
told us today.
yeah,
I think that coach told us today, Vashawn, he's more ready than Lamar Brown is right now, body wise too.
yeah, body wise, yeah,
And that's yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Hook 'em
and
from Belt.
yeah.
Thanks for checking in, Bustin' Cider. That's crazy. That's great. That's a crazy handle, bro. That's a crazy handle, bro. Hook 'em from Belton. What's good? What's good, Brinsky? Good to see you, brother. Now these names on this visit list it's insane. Now I know Felix canceled his OU visit, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
I've
he-
always heard it was us in Ohio State, but you never know with Oklahoma. But I read that article a
Steve,
couple years ago. Go ahead, Sil.
what's weird to me, guys, and I hate to interrupt Vashawn, sorry about that.
You
But
good, bro?
how if you look at Felix canceled his visit to OU. Look at like the players that they have signed right now. How many players are that they're recruiting that we're looking at? Like back in the day,
it's not a lot.
all those years they were dominating us. Yeah, it's not a lot at all.
Mm.
Before we would, beat them out for a player, they would beat us out for players. I'm thinking about all these players that we've lost out to OU. I remember was it Tommy Homeboy from that played for the Bears, defensive
Tommy Harris.
lineman from yeah, like I thought that guy was coming to Texas. There's just been so many years. There's been players that we were both looking at, and if you look at the last couple of years, and I think one of us said this probably a couple of months ago on here, is that we're recruiting different guys now, and it's. I mean, I'm not talking trash against OU fans. I don't see any OU fans in here. Checked in with us, so I guess I will talk trash. They're
Yeah.
just. I mean, it's two different. I mean, we're two different schools now, man. Like we're not even they're not even close. With A&M a little bit, there's a few players, but
A&M,
I
yeah,
just
we're
really like
still
the way
going.
Starks.
So
Yeah,
that's
I
a
just
good
like the
call
way.
out. Right
Yeah,
now, I would say for the top guys, it's basically us in terms of like who we have an eye on. It's us, Ohio State, right? Ohio State is every single one of these people.
Every
Georgia,
single one. Yeah.
Ohio
That's how
State, I
we.
think is
That's how we. That's how we know. We know we moved up to the big house.
Yeah.
we are, that's how we know we're up there with the big boys. You know, like we don't even see OU looking at them no more, and that's crazy because we used to go head to head with them, but like, OU is not even really recruiting with us on our stratosphere. It's just crazy, man. But when Texas is winning, like we are, guys, then we got great NIL packages, great facilities. Austin, Texas. You put 23 guys into the NFL in 2 years. If you play chess, you're taking away all of their other those schools, you're taking away all of their other plays that they got. So they got nothing. To the point, Steve, I heard one kid, a five-star kid, him and his dad went to a rival school.
Mhm.
The kid said all the coach talked about was Sark this, Sark that, blah, blah, this, that. And the dad said, hey, man, stop. He says, I'm not coming here. We're going to leave. He's like, what's wrong? He says, everything you said about Sark is you're lying. And it tells me this. Texas, back-to-back semifinals, putting guys into the NFL. When a coach opened up his mouth, pretty much only thing going to fly out is a lie. You know what I'm saying?
Talk
So
to him.
parents are seeing through that now. Guys, we got to a place. You got to remember this. When was the last time we allowed a coach? And think about this, guys. We're all Texas fans. When was the last time we had a coach make it to year 5? Mac Brown.
Mac
It's
Brown.
been, it's been over, what's that, man, since 2012? We're looking at 10 years. We haven't had a coach make it to year 5. Let me tell you something what happens with year 5. When you make it to year 5 in a program, and you start winning like Texas has been doing, and you start putting guys in the NFL, guys, recruiting goes on cruise control. Ask Saban, ask Kirby Smart. It starts to be because kids are now calling Texas
Calling
saying, hey,
you.
they're calling you now. You don't even have to pick up and call these kids like the Mississippi kid. I mean, even though we got him, but man, look, he was a late addition. And he just like, hey man, I want to come be a part of this. And he was a good pickup too. I like that kid. So I like his film. But man, things are starting. Year 5 is when things go on. And yes, Matt won us a natty, but guess what year he won a natty in? Year 7. Mac was landing number 1 top 5 recruiting classes. I think Mac hit maybe 2 or 3 before he won a national championship in year 7. Sark is only in year 5. So he's actually going on the same trend. But let's just hope Sark do it. He win it this year. Because man, Sark is an excellent program builder. Look at the way he built this roster. He built this roster almost like an NFL roster, man. And I'm serious, brother. He built the trenches up, and to me, that's the difference right there.
Is and can be. Look, the cruise control mentality. Totally, I agree. But
We
I
agree
think
with that now. Yeah.
the difference is the way you avoid that, right? Because I mean that could apply to Kirby Smart, and obviously that has not hurt Georgia. Georgia's been a thoroughbred throughout all of this, really for the last 7, 8 years now. The way you do that is your evaluations still matter, right? Your roster building and not, some of the guys you want to hold out spots for that may not be the highest rated guys. I mean, when you think about our current roster right now, we are still a mix of the top end premier talent in high school and prep, some portal guys, and some guys that we had developmental grades on. Starting with, I mean, think about it. We have 1,000 yard back who was, essentially a 3 star coming out of high school that's coming back. Your left tackle was a 3 star that everybody loves now, right? So your All American, your returning All American is somebody that was a walk on. So it's not your evaluations still matter, okay, and
Yeah.
development is still key. But I
That's
think
the secret sauce.
That's
Yep.
the secret sauce. But
Yeah.
in terms of beginning the conversation and having the pick of what you want, yeah, when I'm talking to the Jonah Williams of the world, it matters. Okay,
Hmm.
when we're talking to the creme de la creme guys, and in this case this year, guys like Felix, right? Guys like Samari Matthews, these top 50, top 60 guys. Yeah, it's gonna matter in terms of their obvious goals to get to the NFL, their obvious goals to be as successful a college athlete as possible. We have instant, credible proof. Period. Right? And on top of that, you don't have people leaving the program bad mouthing the program at all.
No. No.
People that have, whether it's coaches that are leaving to go get promotions elsewhere, or players that just they didn't they either got recruited over, or they just couldn't they weren't going to get the playing time that they were looking for. But even those guys that have left have all been very complimentary of Sark, very complimentary of the program, and it's actually aided their development where they've gone. We had a player last year go to Nevada and ended up getting drafted at Nevada in King Crawford,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like, and half of his film was still Texas film. So that that doesn't, and he was coached by a former Texas coach.
Texas coach. Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, that's the secret sauce. But right now, when we're in June and we're fighting these battles, what one thing that resonated with me though, the OU stuff is interesting because as you look through this again, I if they're banking on evals, God bless them. And if your evals come through, it doesn't matter. But it is interesting that we are not. I can't remember a time where we're not looking at the same players like that. I mean, it was just a few years ago that we were, when you look at like Anthony Hill, Colton Vasek, like it was OU us A&M, OU us A&M, OU us A&M, and I just don't see so many of these guys. I just don't even. If you see OU on the list, you don't see us, or if you see us on there, you don't see OU on. Like, I think that's very interesting and very telling, and especially looking at what's been happening on the field. Again, I'm not saying that they're going to be ass because of that. That's not. Evals matter, fits matter, development
Yeah.
matters,
Yeah.
but these are
Ooh.
signs that we've seen before
2, 3,
on
4.
the other side.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, man. Ooh, my goodness. 2 4 stars and the rest 3 stars right now. Again, we're not saying, hey, maybe they get some good evals. But hey, Ken B, I agree with that. The evaluation and development was what failed Matt. And I think Steve covered it perfectly, Simp. We are hitting on our evals. We are hitting on our developments. We are turning, like you said, 3 stars into NFL players. And when you're doing that, kids want to come be a part of that. I mean, most of the kids in high school, most of them, I don't know the percentage, but all have aspirations to play at the next level. When you are putting guys into the NFL, that makes it real easy for you to go sit down and talk to a kid's parent. Hey, and then when you have a good NIL package and now revenue sharing all behind that, it's just that's what I meant, Ken B. It makes the recruiting easier for the coaches. What you got, Sim?
Man, I'll tell you what, bro. One thing that my connection keeps going in and out, but I pretty much heard everything everybody said. One thing that I don't think we've really brought up yet is man, Lee Allen Clark and Kenny Baker. Like, and the first time Steve had us on, 2.5 years ago, we basically, I remember I had said this, us moving to the STC, if we can if we can develop guys and also win with that, Austin's going to recruit itself. Especially if you think about the main players that we're looking at. Obviously, the state of Texas, we're recruiting Texas, we're recruiting, California, but we're hitting we're hitting the deep South big time. Mississippi,
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana, Florida. Jared Gibson said that
Pure
he needed to get out of
SEC
Florida.
country.
SEC
Yes,
country. Yes, love
there's
it.
a pattern. there's a pattern that I'm seeing with a lot of these players. So, like Jared Gibson and his mom said last year, Corey Wells is moving his whole family from Mississippi to Austin. I mean, this is a great thing about NIL that I do like is that DeAndre Moore moved his whole family with him.
Good point.
Yeah.
From
Good point.
California to here.
Start
You
the
don't. We're not
business
just going to
too.
give your kid. We're not going to just give your kid a $250,000 each year and let him fend on his own. No, move your whole family here, man. But like what we said in the first show that we ever had is that man, Austin is such an amazing city. Especially if you're trying to get away from something. There's going to be some guys that we're going to lose to College Station. We're going to lose to Athens. We're going to lose to those smaller because these guys are to College Station or you know Mississippi because these people want these smaller. Some of these kids want these rural type areas. They want these smaller college type towns. But man,
Hmm.
everyone else, you go visit Austin, you spend a weekend there, you take your family there, like you're there. You're not gonna want to leave. When was the last time you went to Austin? You're just like, man, I cannot wait to get back home. I have never done that. I've always had to drag myself, back home. And that's what's going on right now, man. I mean, like we said,
This
when you develop, put guys in the league, this could be the start of something big right now.
Alan, I think this is spot on, right? I mean, and it wasn't that long ago where it was negative. It was easy to negatively recruit Texas. Shoot, the
Hmm.
beginning of the Sark era
Mhm.
when the draft picks were scarce, we had no first round picks for a long time. It was very easy to negatively recruit Texas. Hey, go to a practice. How competitive they are behind closed doors, right? I mean, just little things. Now
Mhm.
it's become they've literally overnight almost turned this into a factory that we've always wanted, right? That was akin to Saban at Bama and what Smart has built at Georgia. Now we need more sustained time. I'm not saying we have time in with those guys. We obviously don't have the natties yet. Those things, so we still
Mhm.
have levels to get to, by the way. But the ingredients of what we've seen thus far, like Vashawn said, through 5 years, quite frankly, is outstanding
Hmm.
considering the original investment into Sark in 2021. It's outstanding. So Alan's right. The opposition, when you're negative, and what these people are now probably saying is, where are you going to play? You're not going to play over Arch. You're not going to play over this person. You're not going to play over that person. Well, that's what losers have to do. I remember people used to say that when guys were trying to go to Alabama. Oh, you're
Yeah.
taking the easy way out. you just you're just gonna go to Bama. You don't want to make nobody else better. Like when I start
Yeah.
hearing that stuff, that's how I know we cooking, bro.
Yeah.
When I start,
Yeah.
when you start hearing comments like that,
Yeah.
that's how you know you're
We done
officially.
made it. We done made
I'm like, have you
it.
been to Alabama practice? What you mean taking the easy way out?
Yeah.
You kidding me? Victor's funny. He
Hey,
said,
no Alabama players in the portal this year for us. None, not one. Look every year we've taken an Alabama player to and it hasn't worked out except for Keelan Robinson. You know,
Yeah.
well, I also think the ties to when Sark was there and Flood have now, I think more time has elapsed too, to where they don't have
They don't
some
have those ties anymore.
they don't
Yeah.
have the ties anymore, especially with DeBoer there now. And yeah, I don't see it as much either. Victor's funny. He said the NIL deposit must have dropped for one Justice Fitzpatrick as
What's
he
up, Slick Vic?
Slick Vic, Slick Vic.
Man, yeah, and yeah, I agree with H Post. Something doesn't want to compete against Arch. One of the things I'm a little concerned about, Steve. And I don't want to switch subjects too much. Maybe,
no,
but it depends. Uh, Wide receiver recruiting. I know we was after Tristan Keys, and we got two receivers coming in. We got Lott and what's that? What's the Mac? Is it Mac from
Cohen.
Louisiana?
Oh,
Who?
for
Uh,
Cohen Brown.
we got
Are you
Cohen Brown. I'm talking about. I'm talking about coming in this weekend. Cohen Brown's good. Look, I'm a Cohen
Jabari Mack,
Brown.
Jabari
Jabari
Mack.
back. Yeah, yeah, we got him.
Yeah,
And then we already got Chris Stewart. Correct. If I'm Chris Stewart.
Chris Stewart's
Um,
already
yeah.
committed.
I just want to see. It's interesting to see, man. But if we land lot, I'm shutting my mouth, so I ain't gonna say nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? But look, like H Post say, we need to find out Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams. I'm not gonna lie, man. That doggone Tristan Keys is a beast. He was a monster. When I looked at his film, I don't know if we're gonna be able to pull him. A lot of people, a lot of mods are saying he's not gonna stay committed to LSU. Uh, but until we get him on campus, then it's really nothing to talk about. But who knows
Can I ask a
what
question
could
though?
happen? Yeah.
I mean, is there a Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams in every class every year?
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah,
Like,
you're right. It's just hard to. That's just like saying there's a B John or something in every class. It's just them guys.
Chris
Yeah,
Henry maybe, but like
yeah,
I don't see, and I like Chris Henry Jr., but I don't know if he's even going to be. I don't put him in the same process.
yeah,
Coming out,
yeah,
I'm talking about coming out. I don't look at him the same way I looked at Jeremiah Smith. Was a grown man.
yeah. He was. He was, man.
I mean,
He was.
NFL, and then Ryan Williams has some of the most unique movement, like special movement. I don't know. I don't know if it's always fair. I know you're looking for those guys, but some of these guys are going to need. And when H post, what he's meaning by that, I think, is the instant impact. Oh my God, freshman, right? Like,
Yeah,
because yeah, there's other guys in this class. I think Ryan Wingo can definitely be a top tier guy. You know, as he scales. I think Cam Coleman at Auburn, same thing. I think those guys,
mhm.
physical tools wise, have the ability to scale. I think both of the Clemson kids, TJ Moore and Wesco, are going to scale. TJ Moore, the light bulb already came on for him last year because we couldn't do nothing with him in the playoff game. Um,
Nothing, nothing.
so some of these brothers
Exactly.
are already evolving,
Yeah, yeah,
right? TJ Moore being one of them, but I don't know if there's that type of guy in every class. I mean, 2025 this year, I think a lot of people are going to be looking at Decorian Moore at Oregon, especially with the news that Evan Stewart is out for the season.
yeah, yeah.
You also need
Mm.
opportunity, right? And now that Evan Stewart's gone, I do think that opens a big window. Tez Johnson's gone to the league. Like, you got to match opportunity with ready to play talent right off the bat, right? Like, even our two guys, our young guys, Jamie French, Khalid Lockett, Michael Terry. Like, how many opportunities are they
Gotcha.
going to get,
Yeah.
right? Unless injuries start to happen and we have to start. I think some of those guys are just, it'll come along. Um, but yeah, Jeremiah Smith, he may have been one of the most polished receivers in college football last season outright. Like,
What do y'all think though, Steve? And let's, in the words of Carlos Jones, Sim, let's talk about this. If
Let's
Sim, I
talk
mean,
about it.
yeah, if Arch lights it up, the first, well, signing day's not till December. We're in the playoffs, SEC championship. Arch lighting it up. Do you think we change the minds of some of these big time receivers? Because I just don't understand. And I think somebody said the same thing. Who wouldn't want to play with Arch Manning, KJ Lacey, and Dia Bell? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, if I'm a
are
receiver,
the
I'm like,
allegations? Can we talk
yeah,
straight all the way here?
go ahead.
Are these allegations against Chris Jackson?
Yeah, I'm just a little bit. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm just,
yeah,
just
yeah. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk
But I'm
about
just
it.
saying,
No,
who
let's
wouldn't?
get into this.
Yeah, yeah. Who you got a big time selling point to wide receivers. Come play with Arch Manning. He's on TV. He's a Heisman hopeful. He's a Athlon. Right now, Arch Manning is a dude. I grabbed my Athlon magazine. He is an Athlon first team All American. Now we know that's preseason pick, but
that's hype. Yep,
K Klubnik has already proven he's a great quarterback in college, and they picked Arch over him.
And
That
over
should be
Lenore's. That's crazy.
super easy to get a big time wide receiver. I'm just saying, guys. It's I don't know, man. I'm just saying. But I think it could be kids are waiting to see. Because if like Vic said, if Arch comes out there and Wingo does his thing, and I like the Mosley kid from Stanford too. I think Arch is spreading the ball around. We moving the ball. Arch is doing his thing. Heisman hopeful. I think that's going to speak volume for Chris Jackson walking into another, hey, Tristan Keys, you sure you don't want to come take a visit to Texas? And we may see some visits later on in the season. Because usually that's when we do pick up a lot of big commits during the season, during those games, that type of stuff. So what y'all thoughts on it?
Can I just my quick 2 cents on this?
Sure.
Chris Jackson is coming off of a heater in 2025. To be fair to
He
him,
did. He did.
I think the real test will be however much the young guys play, how they're utilized. If people are getting the touches that I don't want to say promised, but there was certain expectations set. I do know that for some of these guys,
Mm-hmm.
especially considering we only got one guy from the portal. It wasn't multiple guys from the portal. And knowing that, hey, there's some opportunities that are going to be here. Parker Livingstone had a great spring, but he's not proven, yet, right? Ryan Wingo shown a lot of potential, but none of these guys are like locked in, right? So depending on your opportunities, I think to your point, if Arch is lighting it up and the receivers are getting showcased, they can have a conversation with anybody by that
Yeah.
point.
Oh
Because
yeah.
Arch is also going to be here for multiple seasons. That's the other thing
Mm-hmm.
you got to consider, right? Before Dia, so whoever's taking over, like Dia Bell and some of these other guys, they're going to have some seasoning too after sitting for a while. At that point, you should be able to get a conversation with whoever you want. That's the way I look at it. What say you,
Yeah.
Chris?
Man, I mean, you got Trey Owens marinating too. He's the odd man out that we forgot about.
True, true.
I think the question needs to be asked though, and we've gone over this, and I saw Buddy had the comment about Quentin Gibson from Crowley. Man, we've asked this question in private, several dozen times. Let's ask it out in public. What kind of wide receiver does Chris Jackson like? Like, what's his ideal guy? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know who it is, man. I don't know what you got to be. We obviously know that Sark likes fast guys. He likes all kinds of guys. But I mean, I've seen Sark at previous places win with guys like Slade Bolden that ran a 4.68. We've seen him do it with 155-pound receivers. We've seen him do it with 215-pound receivers. Like, what kind of receivers does Chris Jackson like? I don't know. I mean, that's a question for you guys. I don't know. Like I'm just, you know, I mean, I just sometimes I see some of the guys out there that he offers late or doesn't offer at all, and it's just it's maddening, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the portal. So, like Victor's saying, hey, should we have paid Singleton, who ended up at Auburn? Well, if you pay Singleton, now we're pushing this conversation more the other direction, right?
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
that's the negative recruiting that is happening. Let's
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
call it a
Yeah.
buck, right?
Yeah.
These
That's true.
people out here are saying, "Yo, why would you go play a receiver at Texas if you're a young boy? They ain't gonna play you. They're just gonna put portal people in there.
I
They're
mean,
not
we
gonna
did it
play
the
you.
last 3 years. We did it almost 3 years.
They're gonna find an AB Mitchell. They're gonna find a Matthew Golden.
Yeah.
They're just gonna
They're
get the
gonna
people from
find
the portal
Isaiah Bond. Yeah. Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
Isaiah Bond that have
Yeah.
more experience, Silas Bolden, and
Yeah.
you young guys are going to end up like Jonte Cook, right? Like where y'all are fighting over table scraps for the rest of the rep. I'm not saying that's how I feel. I'm saying that's the narrative being
That's
spun
the narrative being sold. Yeah.
recruiting against Texas and
Good
recruiting
point.
against Sark.
Great point. Yeah.
And
So
I think at the time when Singleton signed the money he signed, if we would have given him that kind of money, he would have been one of the highest paid players on the team. And at that point, you're having to give other guys on your team raises, even though we
Yeah.
know guys like Colin Simmons and Ant Hill did get raised, get they get raises. You bring a guy like Singleton on and make him your highest paid guy. Now all of a sudden, before you even bring in, Hero Canoe or Travis Brown or any of these other guys that, Cole Pavard, you're having to bring everybody up to begin with. And I don't know if the Texas staff, I think they thought they can get better for their money, you know.
I,
I think
oh,
I
go ahead.
think Sark, guys, I think Sark really is like this. He's running his team and he's looking at every scenario. And he said, and it just is the way I see it. He's like, I'm not taking a chance to be weak in any one of my rooms. If it's a guy out there that we can get better, we're gonna go get him. But I do agree with Steve. That is a great point. Taking starters out of the portal the last couple of years could be hurting us. Now, look, we just took a big class. We did. We took Jamie French, Lockett, you know, Michael Terry, and then hey, you know who's really lighting it up? McCutcheon. He was the
Yeah,
least known
McCutcheon.
guy.
Yeah.
Dalen
that's
McCutcheon is
four.
actually like, yes, he was the fourth guy, the least talked about. So
You still have Aaron Butler
you still
and
got Aaron Butler,
Parker Livingstone
Parker Livingstone, white chocolate,
from.
speed chocolate, whatever you want to call it. Hey, he's fast. I'm gonna say this, guys. I think we just finally getting to a point of this is the unknown, because we're like, man, okay, how we looking in the receiver room? Man, again, we just don't know what we got, and I think we're gonna see what we got. If Chris Jackson is worth what he's worth, we got him from the NFL. That room, and I ain't got no complaints. I'm just saying, just on the recruiting chip, I just hey, and then somebody just rightly stated, Bishop can flip over to wide receiver. If we get Lott, that's another wide receiver, and then let's say we get Jabari back. Hey, man, that's a good haul right there. I'm quiet about it. Usually I talk about these things, Steve, so stuff can happen. So I can get my mouth shut. I like to.
I agree, man. I agree.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what's up, Derek Weisner? Good to see you here, brother. Um, I love that from McCutcheon. Something in that Lovejoy water. Yeah, we got a couple Lovejoy receivers on the roster.
Yes. Yeah.
I think the thing that look, if Ryan Wingo develops the way people think he will, if Parker Livingstone continues on this trajectory, that those narratives will go away because those are
Hmm.
homegrown, developed receivers that would fall under Chris Jackson. Period.
That's right.
As long as that continues, then miss me on the other stuff, right? But right now, that you yeah, we don't have the only homegrown receiver that has really happened under the Sark era is Xavier Worthy, who came here in the transfer portal, but he came here as a freshman.
Yeah.
Everybody else was developed from the portal. I get that of the main contributors at the position, but the other thing we got to factor in is this: we always have run a shortened rotation with the receivers through all four of Sark's seasons thus far. They kind of gave him a little leeway last year, and then when it got to conference play, that rotation tightened up. Okay,
Yeah.
even with the
Yeah.
injuries, it tightened up, and Jonte left.
Yeah.
Then you have the other factor is receivers themselves. A 5-star receiver is different from a 5-star linebacker. It's just they move in a different space.
Yeah.
Okay, and those sometimes I remember people asking me when Evan Stewart was still at A&M, and people were like, "Yo, do you think we should get Evan Stewart to pair with Jonte and Xavier Worthy?" And my response at the time was like, "Yo, if that actually happened, the locker room would go nuclear." Because even though a lot of them train together and everything,
Yeah.
but that's too like that energy with receivers. It's that position is different, guys. I was like just like Jonte would have fought Evan Stewart. Like I
Yeah.
saw it almost happen at a camp. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if they could have coexisted day to day. Like receivers, you also have to like understand what type of guys, and it's got to be a mesh. It's a very unique position because in our school they don't play like edge guys. You can rotate edge guys, and if somebody starts popping, it's great. Like Colin Simmons started popping, so
Yeah.
it worked out, right? Running backs, you know you can sell to a Jaden Blue. Hey, chill
Mhm.
for a few seasons because you're behind all these NFL backs.
Yeah.
Temperament is different. Jaden Blue was a top tier back, and he sat for like 2 3 years before he even became a major contributor. And he still got drafted with the expectations and everything that was laid out for him, and the people that came even behind Jaden Blue. It's a different temperament with running backs. Receivers different. I'm, it's a weird. You're not running a spread offense where you're feeding four mouths. H Post said 4 or 5 wide sets. That's never going to be a reality with Sark.
Yeah.
He's going to play his tight ends.
Yeah.
He's going to play two back, right? And he's going to throw the ball 50% of the time to a non-receiver.
Yeah. That's him. That's his offense. Yeah.
That's his
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah.
So we gotta I think we just need to measure the expectations with that as well. That's
Yeah.
just not going to be for everybody.
Man, Steve, I've always wondered if Evan could have kept Jonte in line though. That's a question that, yeah, I mean, you had three alpha male personalities with Jonte, Evan, and X if you'd gotten that together. But when we've talked about Jonte offline and what he needed, I mean, Evan is someone
True,
that Jonte looked up to. I wonder if he could have kept him, said, hey, man, let's chill on that for a minute. But who knows? We'll never know.
true. I wish Shante best of luck at Syracuse next year.
Mhm.
Um, I hope he balls out and lives up to. I'm glad he's back on track to play college football. That
Yeah.
right there is a blessing. Um, Jaden Blue going off in the playoffs got him drafted. He would have even gone higher. Just ball if he can clean up the ball security with the Cowboys, they got a real weapon. That's really it. I mean, any other thoughts? We're at an hour now. I want to be respectful of y'all's time. Anything else you wanted to touch on? This has been a really good. We blew through my topic so quickly. Like this has not felt
Yeah.
like an hour at all. This has felt
Yeah.
like 20
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
So I want to be respectful. But Vashawn, anything else, or Chris, anything else you guys wanted to touch on while you have the forum?
Simp, you first, Simp.
No, but Sean, you go first.
I got you. Man, just again, it's off season. I'm looking forward to this weekend. Expecting some more recruits to land. I think we finna start hitting in the trenches. And I think a lot of people on here are gonna be smiling. From what I've been hearing behind the scenes, we got some big time recruits coming. I'm talking about for us on the offensive line. And I think this offensive line haul is going to, if it doesn't rival the 2022 class, it's probably going to be better than the 2022 class. And I really believe that. And you know, from what I'm hearing, some of the kids say they want to play with other dogs on offensive line. They want to come to Texas and they want to go down in history, man, as a great offensive line. They want to be a national championship winning offensive line. But real talk, I'm not gonna start this talk yet. But guys, have y'all noticed the national media and a lot of the national writers are starting to pick Texas to win a national championship. Guys, when you start hearing smoke like that, out of all the teams, we're starting a new quarterback. And I hate to open up them can of worms, Steve, but I'm just saying you start you start seeing it and hearing it, and you like, and I'm talking about guys that don't even like Texas, guys that don't even root for Texas are picking Texas.
Mhm.
Boy, it's a beautiful time to be a Longhorn. That's all I gotta say.
H post rat poison or true expectation. And we say rat poison because we've
Mhm.
we've seen it happen in the past. I mean, we even saw it with other teams. Alabama has, recently. But I'll be honest with you. This time last year, I would say most people were picking Ohio State, especially after they got Caleb Downs and Judkins. I'm not saying all. They weren't. I don't think Ohio State was a consensus like national championship pick, but they were up there,
Hmm.
and that was the expectation. I mean, don't run from it. If
Yeah,
you if you built the roster, I keep saying this. You did not go out and get all these damn defensive tackles and load up the room like they did, and go get an Emmett Mosley and go get the tight end. Like you went and spent money on kicker. You didn't spend money on a punter. They didn't do all that to make the semifinals again. Okay, the goal is championship at this point, and I do think things would feel differently had they won the SEC championship last year. Maybe
yeah,
that makes people feel a little bit better. But this going into this year, you cannot be. You have to own it. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. You have to own it. Own it. We have already been knocking at the door the last couple of years,
yeah.
right? And it's not like we're people talk about what we lost, but we brush over what bringing back 61% of production on the defense. That was the top three defense in the country. Who else is bringing back firepower like that? Who else is bringing back potentially three All Americans at three different levels of their defense? I'll stand on that. On top of adding all freshman All American talent next to those people, we should be talking like that.
Thank you. Remove the PTSD, guys. I used to have it bad. Remove it. Wear it. Own it. It's there. It's staring you in the face. Two back-to-back semifinals. I mean, it's levels. When you go into a championship, it's levels that you go to. You don't usually just go boom and all the way there. You start here, you keep working, you keep building, you keep growing, you keep there. Top three classes, top two classes, number one classes. You hitting the print. The portal is a cheat sheet now. You're building where you're weak at. Okay, we go into we get 6 D tackles. We get a Watson who's a freshman All American in Clemson. This dude gonna be a 2-year starter for us. Anthony Hill, year 3. Come on, guys. We just got a Spence from Arkansas who can rush. We got Trey Moore back, which is an underrated. Don't forget, guys, a lot of people, hey, look, I'm bad at this. We overlook the fact we like to call him Vanilla Vic. You know what I'm talking about, Sim, but we call him Vanilla Vic, number 16, baby. Uh, he's a second team All American. Second team All American back there at safety. And then we got Jelani McDonald, and you mess around. You got Derek Williams, who he ain't look. Derek Williams was trending to be the dog, and he just rehabbing. Man, we are too deep all over that defense. And that's what wins, guys. The defense. Offense is going to be that Arch, and we got Arch Manning. So, hey, man, let's just wear it. I know we got a little sip a little Kool-Aid here and there, but guys, it's a reason. And you got to ask your question. Why is the national media picking Texas? These guys don't like Texas. I know some of them, like, why is he picking Texas? He don't like Texas because they see facts. And just like Steve said, Ohio State wore it last year because they knew what Ohio State had coming back.
Even when they got
Where
tripped up, even when they got
even when they
tripped up,
got tripped up, even when
that's
they
the
got
other.
tripped up.
That's the other
Yeah,
thing. The schedule, the college football is built where you don't have to be perfect. You just got to get to the playoffs, right? Like
yeah,
Ohio State just got like they lost twice. They lost twice with the now by the end of the season when they made their adjustments after the Michigan loss, that's when they played their best football, no doubt about it. But they lost twice. They didn't even win the Big Ten. They weren't even in the Big Ten championship game. But they were built, and their goal was to win a natty. Their goal was Ryan Day needs to shut people up. He hasn't. He had been knocking on the door. They got their breakthrough. That's why I'm like, yo, I'm not afraid to talk like this because we don't. If we lose our first game, it's not the end of the world. If you lose a couple games in conference, it's not the. You just need to make the playoffs. Now you have a threshold, right? And you want matchups to go your way. But the way they built this team, man, if you're not talking like that, or if you're not thinking like that, then what are we trying to accomplish? I'm confused. Then we should be relying more on the younger guys, right? But like that's not the case. People came back to school to win. like let's
Yeah.
not get it twisted. What say you, Chris?
All right, I got two things. First off, with all the wide receiver talk, we forgot about a very important key addition that we made this offseason. And if you look at, you know, Arch's uncles, they always had great tight ends. You know, Dallas Clark for Peyton. You had Jeremy Shockey and then Kevin Boss for Eli. I think Jack Andrews is going to be that guy. That was probably, besides Murad Watson, that was probably my favorite off-season, you know, inquiry that we got this off-season. So I mean, like Vashawn said, when you have a talent like Arch, you know, you don't need to wait to get these guys in. You need to get all the talent you in now. You know, and we're going to be seeing that with Trey Owens. We're going to be seeing that with KJ, with Dia Bell. Uh, and my final thought, and this is this will help us out more and will make Sark's job a lot easier. But there's a scenario that we need to keep our eyes on. Guys, in 2027, that draft, and that's, I'm saying 2027. I'm saying that's Arch is coming back and playing 2 years. That's Gooseby coming back and playing this year and next year. And then that's also Colin Simmons, obviously, because he has to play those next 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, there's a chance with those three guys that we have three of the top five pick in that draft. You had a Murad Watson, you had a Ryan Wingo, you had whatever hot back we have at that time. You had who's the right tackle that we got coming
Brandon
in from LA.
Baker.
Yeah, Brandon Baker. I mean, you have a chance to have 5 or 6 first round picks. But if you have three in that 2027 draft, just think about this, guys. Think about everybody you think that could be coming out in that draft. Think about
No, he's right though. As he comes back, and Anthony Hill have one more year. But to his point about 2027, Simmons, Manning, Gooseby.
I don't know. I don't ever remember a time Texas having three of the first 5 picks or three of the first 10 picks in the draft. Just be something for you guys to keep your eyes on, you know, as we see these guys develop and continue to do the things that they do. And, just think about for us in our official recruiting.
I appreciate you guys coming on, man. It's been a great conversation. And Vashawn, where can the people find you guys?
And y'all can always find us on Unfiltered, brothers. We always on there talking. Hit us up, Messenger. We love to talk ball, me, Simp, and Steve. And um, hey, been around Longhorn Nation for a long time. I'm just like y'all, man. Love to see my team win. Bleed, burn orange. And like I say, hey, hit me up. You want to talk? I talk ball.
Appreciate you guys coming on. And look, I know we're talking national championship and have big aspirations. The SC, I want the SEC. I don't want to get that twisted either. All right, I want to win the SEC championship this year because we should have won. We really should have won last year.
Oh yes.
We've gotten our own way. I'm sorry, no disrespect to Georgia or anything like that, but like because this narrative about our schedule and all this type of stuff only exists because we didn't make field goals at the end of the Georgia game the second time, or else
Exactly.
that's no longer a conversation, right? Because
Exactly.
we would have had it.
Exactly.
So just throwing that out there, that is probably number two on the list after winning a national championship, is winning the SEC championship. Very very important. We'll talk more about that though, maybe this Friday. Just focusing on the SEC because if you focus on the SEC, that'll lead you to the playoffs and navigating that as well. But guys, hit the like button, subscribe. Shout out to Vashawn and Chris, this week's guests. They always bring the heat. Appreciate y'all so very much. Find them on Unfiltered Longhorn Talk on Facebook. Y'all, we're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers, so help us out. It's free to show love. Hit that subscribe button right now. Subscribe. 15K by August 30th, Texas, Ohio State. I appreciate y'all so much. Horns always up. Hook 'em.